Now, the proposal that I put to you was that when the service taking water out is substandard, just as the service bringing water in is substandard, that those households would have the same derogation in charge, that they would not pay for that water. Now, Arklow is an example in my own constituency. And it is not simply the case that Irish Water can argue, look, we're taking wastewater out of your house, that's all that concerns you. Because what's happening is they're taking that wastewater directly out of the houses and dumping it into the Avoca River, which runs through the town of Arklow. So it's not going anywhere. It is directly affecting those residents.
I understand the issue and the question as regards why should they be paying for it. The simple fact of the matter is the waste is being taken out, and the answer to the people in Arklow is the fact that by taking such revenue, we'll be able to provide the infrastructure which they badly need and should have had many years ago if there had been a plan in place to do so.
Specifically to the case of Arklow, funding for the wastewater treatment plant is in place and has been in place for many years through central taxation. And actually, the only reason it hasn't been built is through a legal issue. So the issue of people in Arklow having to pay for wastewater treatment services they don't have in order to fund a wastewater treatment plant doesn't exist.
Anymore.
Maybe, but I'm speaking specifically to Arklow. So for the people of Arklow, which is both the businesses and the residents who I represent, there is no argument that says we need to charge you for wastewater in order to fund a wastewater treatment plant, because the funding for that is in place through the taxes they already pay. Secondly, if that is the rationale, I would ask you why that rationale is not being applied to boil water notices. So were one to apply that rationale, which I would accept is not an unreasonable rationale to apply, although in the case of Arklow it doesn't apply. If that were the case, then surely one should be consistent and apply it to the boil water notices, because exactly the same argument would apply, which would say to the residents of Roscommon, the water you have coming in is substandard, so we're going to charge you for it in order to fund better quality water, right? Now, that's clearly not happening in the case of the water. The argument and the precedence that has clearly been set is to say you have a substandard service and therefore we are not going to charge you for that service until it becomes a high quality service. So can I ask you, Minister, specifically for Arklow, where the funding is already in place, why they should be charged, the businesses and the residents, to fund a treatment plant?
We can't deal with local issues on a bill of this type.
Well, for Arklow, okay.
If that's the case, every deputy could raise about every...
Okay, fine.
Please understand,
let me broaden it.
This is the committee stage of a bill.
Let me broaden it. Thank you, Ken Corda. Can I ask, for any of the 42 towns around the country where funding has already been identified, the argument you put forward clearly doesn't apply. So can you come back and give it another rationale, because the one you've given doesn't apply for any of those 42 towns?